Well, good morning, everybody. Unfortunately, we're here today to tell you that a tragedy has happened here in Indian River County. So approximately midnight last night, the searchers, we had our dive team from St. Lucie County here searching in the water, and they recovered the body of the child, the 2-year-old autistic child, last night right around midnight. At this point, I can say that all the signs that we've seen, all the evidence that we've seen, point to this being just an absolute tragedy. Our team spent hours yesterday afternoon with the family, and the stories, everything that they've given us is very consistent. Mom got up in the morning yesterday and went to work like she does every day. Dad was here with the 2 young children, taking care of them. Both of the young children had been sick, and unfortunately, in an effort to air out the house from the sickness, the father opened a couple of the windows on the apartment on the 2nd story and left them open. The autistic child, 2-year-old, in a diaper, pushed against one of those screens. The screen popped out, and when we arrived on scene, the screen was still hanging from the 2nd story apartment window. It appears as though the child fell on the foliage on the ground, right there. There was quite a bit of bushes and shrubbery that would have broken the child's fall, and the child made its way 25, 30 yards into the water. Everything that we had yesterday afternoon indicated that that story was correct, which is why we focused the majority of our efforts on that water, that large pond that's in the center here. And after several hours of searching, we did recover the child's body. I do want to thank St. Lucie County. Again, their dive team is the one who actually located the child's body. But I have to thank the FBI, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Vero Beach Police, Sebastian Police, Indian River State College. They all had cadets here. They had people here helping us. Indian River County Fire Rescue, and of course our team that never gave up. They worked all night. We've got folks that were here throughout the night. Obviously, we're going to keep our investigative hats on and continue to look at this. We have an autopsy on the child today to ensure that everything that we've seen at this point continues to be consistent. But unfortunately, this is a tragedy, and we're very sad for the family. Our heart goes out to them. You know, we do know the family, prominent family in the community, and so just a terrible tragedy. With that, I'll take your questions.
How far was the fall from the water? How far did the child have to crawl?
So not really crawl, the child's 2, so the child can walk and really like run to the water. The parents said that the child was drawn to water and that ever given the opportunity would bolt towards the body of water. The front of the residence where the child fell out of to the water is probably maybe 30 yards, 25, 30 yards, something like that. Not far at all, and definitely something that could have happened without anybody noticing. You know, it's a busy 2 p.m. afternoon inside the apartment complex. Very plausible that the child fell out the window, took off running directly to the water, and nobody saw it, because we haven't had any witnesses come forward. You know, we really, in our search in the area around, the conversation that we were having is a 2-year-old child in a diaper would be seen. Somebody would have noticed the child wandering. And so the most realistic scenario was that the child did make its way out of the house and quickly into the water.
So no one would have heard the baby fall out of the window, maybe make a sound, like the dad wouldn't have heard it from inside the apartment?
It's possible. He was inside feeding the other child and giving medicine to the other child. You know, I'm not sure the situation, if he had a TV on, if he had music on inside the house. I don't know the details. Those are all things that, you know, our investigators look into. But this is a child that's relatively nonverbal, doesn't say a whole lot, probably didn't scream, probably didn't have any sort of reaction. A lot of autistic kids don't react as well to pain. I'm the father of an autistic child myself, I know. You just don't see the reaction like you do with a normally functioning child. And so it's very possible that there was no noise other than branches maybe breaking or the sound of him hitting the ground. And the ground was very soft. Yesterday we had rain, and so it was one of those things where definitely could have hit the ground without anybody hearing it.
How difficult is it to, you know, inform the family? You guys been searching, you've had teams searching to find out this unfortunate news that he was found in the water?
It was tough yesterday seeing the family. It's a family that, you know, some of the relatives we worked with for a long time. Absolutely heartbreaking. And, you know, this morning seeing some posts really just a sad situation. I do want to mention that Brevard County Sheriff's Office K-9 was on scene. We did have bloodhounds. We had 6 different bloodhounds that came out. We also had a cadaver dog. The bloodhounds that we did have on scene, for the most part, did go towards the area of the water, consistent with the statement. The cadaver dogs did show an interest in the water. We put them out in a boat, out in the water. So that's why I say, you know, all signs point to this being exactly what the parents have told us, and there's no reason at this point to believe it's anything other than a tragedy.
Between the time that the dad realized and you got people out here, like what was the time frame?
So when we, yeah.
Every second counts.
Every second counts. You're absolutely right. When we initially arrived, Dad had said 10 to 15 minutes. As our deputies began the search, it could be as many as 30 minutes. Really hard to say. I think Dad probably lost track of time in the emergency and the panic. I don't know that he knew how much time had elapsed, but he did get on the phone with 911 pretty quickly. I did get a chance to listen to that 911 call, and he was clearly in a state of panic. He was looking for his son. It sounds to us like it was rather quick, but again, a child in the water can drown very, very quickly.
Do you have an exact time when the child was found?
Just before midnight. It was just before midnight.
Go ahead.
How deep is the pond?
About 5.5 feet at its deepest point. They did have the drone. We had an underwater drone from St. Lucie that made its way through the entire pond, and their sonar said about 5.5 feet is the deepest point in that pond.
Can you share how far in the toddler was found?
I can't get into the details of all that. That's part of the investigation right now. But I can tell you this, once it got dark, the fountain came on inside there. It's very murky water that's in there. Our helicopter flew very low yesterday. There's no way for us to see inside that pond. And unfortunately, even with the drone, I was watching the video, you really can't see. Even, you know, the drone has lights, just like your bright lights on it inside the water, and it's still very difficult to see in that water. It's very, very murky. So without the help of the dive team, without people physically putting water, you know, feet in the water, actually getting in there and feeling around and using the drone, there's really not much we could have done in that situation.
So the autopsy is today. How
Yes.
soon will that return?
It'll take us time with the medical examiner. We don't rush them in their investigation, and certainly we will not rush our investigation. We want to make sure that we cross all the T's and dot all the I's and make sure that you know, we know exactly what happened out here. But at this point, less than 24 hours later, all signs point to this being what the family has said at this point.
Kind of building off her question, really for you guys and for the agencies involved, what is the next steps? I know the big part was trying to find the child, but now there's further steps. You said the investigation is still open.
It is. It's an active investigation. Our team will be busy following up. Our team will continue to be out here interviewing residents, seeing if there's anybody that saw anything, seeing if there is any additional video. We did that yesterday. We canvassed. You know, we talked to a ton of different residents. We're going to continue with those efforts. And really, the next steps too are the healing process between our deputies, making sure the folks that were out here that witnessed all of this and that were part of this. Obviously, pulling the child's body out of the water is a tragic event, but then also the family, working with them and making sure that they get the help that they need. So thank you guys for your coverage of this. I also want to say thank you to all the people who independently came out. There were people who just decided that they wanted to search. I know we oftentimes in law enforcement get frustrated by that, but we also know that they're good intentioned people who really just want to be a part of the search. And so a lot of times we can't give you all the information in the moment of what we know and what's going on. And we don't need somebody going missing or getting hurt out there searching on their own. But all of them were very helpful. All of them were very nice. And I just want to say thank you to the community that came forward and assisted with this. So thank you guys. Thank you.